You've probably heard me talk about Mando whole body deodorant by now, but if you haven't, listen up. A buddy recommended this to me, and I have never looked back. This stuff is a game changer. You can use it on your whole body. Yeah, that's right. Pits, feet, and beyond. It's dermatologist tested and gentle on all the sensitive areas. Plus, it's clinically proven to control odors for 72 hours. My go-to scent? Bourbon leather. It's bold, just like me. But Mando's got options. Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, or even unscented if you want to keep things low-key. And let me tell you, I put this stuff on yesterday before a workout, a run, and a meeting, and I still smell incredible. I'd like you guys to try it, and I want you to know Mando has got a starter pack for all new customers. You get a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products like body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And here's the kicker. Use code Chael at shopmando.com. That's going to get you $5 off. That's over 40% off your first pack. So stop messing around. Upgrade to Mando. Go to shopmando.com. Use the code Chael or just click on the link below. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is the biggest boxing event in history. I can assure you right now, that is a headline that comes out after this fight. And to become the biggest boxing event in history, you just need a press release from your PR team to the media to make that claim. The biggest boxing fight in history, that's all that is. These are not numbers that are ever backed up and or proven. It's just a claim being made. But what would make something such a big fight? And just so you understand, you ever hear about states? States in the United States, and they'll tell you like Texas is the biggest state in the union. But another time they'll tell you California is the biggest state in the union. You're like, wow, how did it grow? What land did they take over? Well, just to quantify for you, it just means population. Biggest state doesn't actually mean geographical territory. It means the most population. But I'm telling you that because when you talk about the biggest fight in history, it doesn't have to be the most consequential. It doesn't have to have the most stakes. In fact, much like this fight, it doesn't even have a title up. So how do you become the biggest? Well, to answer that for you, revenue. People that watch. And I do feel like Netflix is going to succeed. First off, to be number one, you just got to make the statement. But number two, I was reading this piece on Netflix. It was like 250 plus million people. 250 million people have Netflix. They're subscribers. I also thought that this was going to be on pay-per-view. But I've got that wrong. It's got to be specifically Netflix. And we would all understand that, but it does cut down on streaming. It does cut down on theft. And Netflix also doesn't have to reveal the numbers. So back a moment ago, not only do they not have to reveal the numbers as company policy, they don't reveal numbers. So back a moment ago when I was telling you that all you have to do is make this claim, it would be very easy for them to make the claim. And I got to tell you, I'm looking more forward to it than... I'm trying to think back the last time I looked more forward to a fight or something that's got to me more. On a personal note, for example, Coach T. Kander invited me to his house for a party. And that was for the very first fight that they were going to do that ends up being canceled. I haven't been invited to come over to somebody's house to watch a boxing match. I'd have to go back to college, and I think I was the one doing the inviting. I want to say it was for Holyfield and Lennox Lewis. But either way, I'm way back. That's that same time frame where Tyson was doing the biting of the ears and getting in there with Holyfield, right? That was that mid-90s, later part of the 90s even. Why is this such a big match? What is the story of the match? There's nothing on the line, it would seem. And there's no promoter that has come out. I don't know if this is IBF, WBA, WBC, WBO. I don't know. I imagine we could look that up and find it out. And these guys are pretty good at the last minute of bringing out a title of some sort. I was at the Mayweather-McGregor press conference when they brought the $1 billion belt out. And it was beautiful, and it was encrusted with diamonds, and I was also working that event, and I was backstage when the belt got left there, and I had to take it and turn it into the front desk. It had no diamonds on it. It was none of these things, right? But there was just something that people understood about a belt. There was important from a production standpoint to cap the night off with having somebody hold the belt up and somebody puts the belt, they put it around their shoulder. It's one of these things. I know that you guys understand that, but I'm sharing for you. What's the fight about? I mean, we have rules. We have rules if you want to tell a great story. We have rules and understanding that good promotion and good storytelling are the exact same thing. So what is the story of this fight? And I think that we can all understand it. Can Mike do it? That's the big question. Can he do it? It has very little to do with Paul in terms of achievement. We've seen 26-year-old. We've never seen them fighting 58-year-olds. We don't even have a frame of reference, but this is a very special 58-year-old. And the big question is, can he do it? Can he come back being Mike Tyson? Can he make it through the training camp? Can he make it the distance of the fight? Before we even get to the decision, before we even get to can he beat him, we have these other questions. Can he make the walk? Can he arrive? And it's so compelling, and it's a part of the story that hasn't been told yet at all. I have not seen this, and I trust as this fight gets closer that we are going to start to get into some of that. We are going to start to learn about training camps and what was different and who you brought in. And what is it, the way that you prepared? I think it's going to make it very big by the time it comes about. I think one mistake that they've got, because one very easy thing about boxing and lying about your numbers, which is any fight that you think you know is the biggest fight. No, you don't. No, you don't. I don't say this with any type of exaggeration. I've had television execs come up to me numerous times and tell me, Chael, I heard you say that the biggest boxing match ever is whoever lies about it more than the previous one lied about it. You're the only one that seems to get it. I'm not joking about that. And it would be very hard to ever stop Netflix from doing it. A bit hard to stop anybody else. And there is categorical ways that you could find those numbers out. With Netflix, that's not true. And I do feel like there's a massive excitement. When I tell you that there's one mistake made, it's Jerry's World. I have the same response to them fighting at Jerry's World as Conor McGregor, which is, what are they doing there? How did they get that? How did they even talk? So it's not as though Texas is a fight capital, by the way. And are Conor and I wrong? Can they fill that up? I maintain if you gave tickets away, you couldn't get 80,000 people there. That's what I maintain. I don't try to be funny at all. I don't care if you go to Groupon. I don't care if it's one of those, hey, bring a can of food and your kid gets in free. Like, these are very real things. Or kids get in free if they come with adults. I don't care how you do it. I do not believe you're going to get 80,000 people to drive to an event where the building is so far away, you got to get in a golf cart, get driven up, get dropped off for one match on an event like this where we don't even know who the co-main event is. Where the co-main event may never be mentioned. I could be wrong, guys. I could be completely wrong. I mean, I will tell you, I do find that part of it interesting. And in most times, and one of the reasons it's so hard to do anything with boxing is the money. You could have a guy, and this is a mentality, it's a cultural mentality within boxing. You can have a guy that's okay with his purse. In fact, he celebrates. He's excited when he signs the contract. And he can hear in the media that this is going to be a bigger event and he'll want to go in and renegotiate the contract. So earlier in the week, we had Jake Paul come out and they broke down his numbers and he's coming in at a $40 million guarantee. That's not good news if you're Team Mike. I'm telling you right now, that's going to be a problem. They're going to want to look at that. Then when you have inability for the biggest fight of all time, that's not going to be good news to everybody involved. That's going to be, okay, I need a bigger piece. And it's an interesting spot. Very famous story, the Ultimate Warrior had done a pay-per-view. I think it was Survivor Series. And when they get there, the building is packed. It's sold out. They got Warrior signs. They could not be more excited. And Warrior went to Vince and demanded on the spot $1 million. Forget about our guarantee. I get $1 million or I'm not going through the curtain tonight. You have promised these people the Warrior. I'm going to see to it that you can't deliver on that promise. And Vince wrote him the check. And Warrior walked through the curtain, and when he came back, Vince was the first one he saw, and Vince sent him home. He fired him. But Vince didn't cancel payment on the check. He let him have the money. I'm only sharing for you, like, this is a very real thing. And what these guys are fighting about can't be money. It's got to be something else. It's got to be prestige. There has to be something There isn't a title there. And if they can't pick the something and the promoter can't pick the something, it comes down to us. And we're in, right, guys? We're on board. But it does come down to what I stated. Can he do it? Can Mike Tyson do it? And a big part of these fights is, does the guy believe he can do it? Because both Jake and Mike both know already who's going to win that fight. But does Mike think he can do it? Is there any number, including $40 million, where Mike Tyson will sell his legacy? Because that's what's on the line. Is there any number, including $40 million, where Mike Tyson lets a guy from YouTube get the jump on him? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't know Mike very well, but I feel like I know him well enough to know that. He thinks he can win the fight. He's going in to win the fight. And the only reason that we care about this, because we want to see, is he right? Can he do this?